Tuesday, normally we do that, but 2025, well, you just never know what's going to happen with technology and back things up for a day, right, Pete?
I was starting to wonder if the Y2K bug hit about what 25 years and a week late.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no kidding. So first things first, let's find out what happened. I mean, is there anything going on as far as road construction, brand new year, all that?
Yeah, no, we've got a couple projects going. They're a little ways away. We're replacing a bridge on Iowa 3 in Waverly, and obviously we've talked about before the Mississippi River Bridge over at Lansing in far northeast Iowa is also our project, and they actually even took a couple week break over the holidays, but they're back working now, and we'll continue to work throughout the winter as long as conditions allow. So it'll be fun to see what kind of progress is made on those projects through the winter. And once spring hits, the goal with the Waverly Bridge anyway is to be up and out of the river as far as with the substructure, the piers and the abutments. So that way, when the river does rise in the spring, like they tend to do, um, we'll be out of the way and it won't delay us anymore. So that was the plan of starting the project when we did. Now, with the lack of snow, we're not going to have to worry about the rivers rising. I guess depending on what happens north of here, but we all know that it's still early, still very early in the winter, and we can get a lot of snow pretty quickly. So we'll just see what happens with that and move ahead with those two projects and go from there.
What about winter driving? We can't really talk about that too much because we haven't had a chance to do it, but why not? Well, just remind people that winter drive it is going to happen.
Yeah, it
Some
is. And yeah, I know we've touched on it before, but like you said, we can't touch on it enough. This just gives you more time to be prepared to make sure, even with the colder weather that we are seeing, if you've got a bad car battery, you're probably realizing it right now because it's probably starting a little slower. Hopefully it is starting. But I guess one thing I wanted to talk about briefly is wearing seatbelts. And that's obviously something you need to do year round. With the new year starting, we are wrapping up the numbers from last year, and we saw 352 people killed on
Oh
Iowa
wow.
highways last year. And here's the scary part of that 352 people, 43%, I believe it was 106 people were not wearing their seatbelts that were killed. Now, would a seatbelt have saved everybody? Probably not. Would it have saved a good chunk of them? Probably would have saved quite a few. So make sure you wear the seatbelt. A recent survey by the Governor's Traffic Safety Board said that 88% of Iowans say they always wear their seatbelts in the front seat, but only 67% say they wear them in the back seat. So there's obviously room for improvement there. So I guess as we're sitting here with no snow and don't have a lot of winter driving to talk about, we can talk about something that will make a difference year round. So use a seatbelt. It's really not difficult. It is the law for people in the front seat. It's a law for people any age in the back seat. I guess if you're over 18, you don't have to wear it in the back seat, but obviously you should. So, again, keep that in mind as we are dealing with a snow-free winter so far.
And we're loving it, that's for sure.
And I tell you what, I'm not complaining. I
Yeah.
know there are people who obviously need the snow for business and all that, and for their sake, I do hope we do get it because it's part of life in the Midwest, and it does serve a purpose. And then even for the dry conditions, we were able to get some pretty good rains in the summer. Too much rain, obviously, in some places, but the late summer and fall were dry, so we're actually inching towards the drought conditions again, and a dry winter would definitely play into that.
I know snow removal, the guys that and gals that do that, they're always saying when it snows, it's pennies from heaven.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And there's also the people who use it for skiing or snowmobiling or snowshoeing or whatever. So yeah, it's been a weird, last year was incredibly dry and this year's trending that way right now. But again, we've still got a good 3 months of winter, so we'll see what happens.
Are you a skier, Pete?
I am not a skier. Nope. I have actually never downhill skied.
Really?
No, I did some cross country skiing when growing up on the farm in North Dakota, and that was fun. and maybe something I wouldn't mind doing again. But my winter activity is usually ice fishing and football.
Yeah. Speaking of football, Pete,
Did you like that transition, Jay?
I did. I can tell that you've been in TV before. And how do we
I,
get this over? And now
I've
back to
seen
you, Pete.
yeah, I've seen me do it.
Yeah. So I tell you what, I was really bummed on Sunday night, big
You
time.
know, and I only told this to a few people,
Well,
and
now
that's
you're
was
telling the world.
yeah, exactly. But this was before the game on Saturday. Um, no, obviously, I wanted to win that game. But I did say that, if we lose, it might be one of those things that kind of refocuses you and it keeps you with the us against the world thing because nobody has talked about the Vikings and they really didn't get much hype until this game.
Yeah.
And and like I said, I am not saying I am happy and I was not very disgusted and angry and not a very probably pleasant person for a few hours on Sunday night, but
Mhm.
we'll see. Hopefully it works in the right direction. I think the thing that bothered me the most was the play of Darnold. You know, he
Mhm.
he played so well most of the year and he did not play well. And I know he's the first one to admit it and everybody has, but we'll see. Uh, it's on, on to the Rams, as they say.
Yeah. Well, last week they were raising him up on their shoulders, and this week it's like, oh, well,
Yep.
okay. Back to square one.
Yep.
And now we gotta come off like a bye week where we lost to the Rams and lost to the Lions.
Yeah.
So I hope it's not a repeat. It's gonna be tough to
Uh,
beat a same team 3 times. So I don't know if we get past the Rams, not if, when we get past the Rams. I'm trying to stay positive here, Pete, because I was not positive on Sunday night and Monday.
no, I would Monday. I hate to even say this, but when I woke up Monday morning, it was literally the first thing on my mind was that dang game. So,
Yeah, I
but
didn't mind too. I was
yeah,
mad all day. I was mad all day.
uh, I I was fine once I got to work and everything. And it's funny, I got a couple good friends at work who are Lions fans, and they've been Lions fans through the bad years too, and
Uh-huh.
they're obviously loving life. And so, yeah, no, it's one of those things. They missed so many opportunities, and that goes back to Darnold missing. I heard on the radio today on a Minneapolis station that there was 5 times that there was wide receivers wide open that would have been touchdowns or near touchdowns, and
Mhm.
he either didn't see him or he missed him. And don't get me wrong, part of that was the pressure the Lions were putting on because they were coming hard, and guess what? The Rams saw that, and they're gonna do the same thing, so
Oh,
they
yeah.
gotta be ready for it.
Yeah. Well, during the game on Sunday night, at one point, I had to text to Jared DeVries,
Oh,
former
yeah?
former Lions player.
Yep.
We jabber back and forth every now on the Vikings Lions play. But
Okay.
I texted him. I said, "Well, I'll clean it up a little bit just because."
Yeah.
I said, "Dang, Lions sure do look good, even with 17 guys on IR, which is
Right.
injured reserve, and frustrating as a Vikings fan." Ha ha.
Yep.
So, and I didn't know if he was at the game or where he was at, but,
Yeah.
then I did get a text message back, uh, what is today? Wednesday, so it was Monday is when
Okay.
he texted back, and he sent me lion head pictures
Sure.
that smiled.
Yeah,
So
I'm sure.
so, again, we go back and forth, and it's in a fun way,
Right. Yeah, there's
because
nothing wrong that's what makes it enjoyable.
because what, Jared played
Yep.
for, what, 11 years in the league on the
Yeah.
Lions.
Yep.
So,
He had a really good long career.
yeah, yeah, so but it's fun to, jabber back and forth about it.
Yeah.
Vikings, Lions.
It was kind of funny. One of my, with Anzalone back for the Lions, one of my buddies sent me a text on Sunday night and said, "Has anybody seen Anzalone and Van Ginkel in the same room together?"
Right, yeah,
Because
when they change their
they're like the same player. They look the same.
yeah, I know, he's switching jerseys in between defenses.
Yeah, well, maybe that's why he dropped that interception.
Yeah, could have been, thank goodness he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, why Van Ginkel dropped that.
Oh, Van Ginkel, yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah. Yep. No. No, it was. And, yes, the score kinda got out of hand at the end, but, our
Well,
defense played pretty well. They played
Yeah.
pretty well except for the last quarter, and they'd been on the field a long time. So
Well,
we'll see. Offense needs to step it up this week, and we'll see what happens.
yeah. Well, Coach Campbell said, "See you in 2 weeks." Coach said that
Yep.
to Kevin O'Connell. So we'll
Well,
see.
I hope he's right.
Well, me too. Me too. But again, it's tough. Lions fans, I hate to disappoint you if I'm saying this, but it's tough to beat a team 3 times.
Like I said, I'm just hoping for the opportunity. We'll
Oh
we'll
yeah.
we'll discuss that if
When we
it
get
comes
there.
about. Yeah,
Yeah. All
exactly.
right. Yeah. No.
Yep.
Don't get ahead of yourself now, Jay. See, now yeah, I was bummed out. I'm like, you know what? And Viking fans, I'm not the only one either. I've come to find out a lot of us were just so bummed and
Oh
say,
yeah.
well, that's it. We're done. We're, you know, so again, we'll see.
No, I'm not going that far yet. I still look back at, and I know they talked about it too on the broadcast, that they had the upper level of wins for the Vikings at 7
Yeah.
during
Yeah.
at the beginning of the year, and they expected us to be battling with Chicago for the bottom spot in the North. So,
Yeah.
and yes, if we go out and lose first round, I will be disappointed, but I really hope I can remember that it's been an amazing, fun season to watch.
No, I'm going to remember the last game we played.
No, but that's human nature. I was just talking to somebody about that today. How the college football season, you know, the Hawkeyes go 8-4, and it's like, yeah, we should have won a few more games, but guess what? If you end the year by winning your bowl game, it is so different than if you end the year losing your bowl game like they did. It's just
Absolutely.
winning at the end is such a different feeling.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
obviously in the NFL, there's only going to be one team now that's going to win their last game that's still remaining, but we'll see what happens.
well, on the positive note, Pete, 'cause I like to stay positive just like you, positive Pete,
Yep.
is that at least it was the regular season game that we lost, which I don't know how we could have won out the rest of the season. We
Right.
already won like
Exactly.
9 in a row, so it's good to
Right.
take a loss, take a deep breath, and then come back, and we only got 4 games to go if that's, what the wishes of the Vikings gods are for. So,
You need to go back and rewind this a few minutes. Do you remember what I just said?
what's that?
That I had told a few people. If
Oh,
we
yeah.
take a loss, it gives us a chance to refocus and don't take things for granted. And like you just said, realize that the next loss, it's over.
Yeah.
It's done.
At least it wasn't the first round of the playoffs that we lost.
Correct.
But it
Exactly.
felt like it. To me, Pete, that's what it
Yeah.
felt like. It was a kick
Oh,
in the gut and going, oh, because I was kind of excited about this game. I thought, boy, if Darnold does a good job, it's all up to him.
yeah.
And he didn't come to the game.
No, and it had the playoff atmosphere just because there was so much on the
Oh,
line between the winning the North, the number 1 seed. Yeah, it definitely felt like a playoff atmosphere.
they're talking the Vikings still. I mean, even I was watching the Pat McAfee show because I watched that, and he's part of
Okay.
ESPN, and they're talking still. They're not counting the Vikings out.
No, they shouldn't, but
Yeah.
it's gonna be on the road, so
I know I hate talking
we'll
about it too
see.
much.
I
I
know.
don't wanna jinx it.
That's why, if we can get past the Rams on Monday night, at least you're going to some place where you're familiar, you know?
Right.
It's not like going to Detroit, it's not like going to Tampa or to Philadelphia where you only play once every 4 or 5 years, you play in Detroit every year.
Yeah.
So, hopefully that's a benefit if it gets to that point.
I did too. I haven't heard a response back because he's probably going, Jay's gonna want tickets. Because I texted Jared back after
Oh, yeah.
and I
Yep.
said, "Going to the next game they play in a couple of weeks?"
Yep.
Yeah. No
Haven't heard
response.
back?
No
Yeah.
response.
Yeah, you're probably not the only one who's hit him up for
Well, I didn't
possible tickets.
now, hey, I did not ask him for tickets. I
Right.
just wondered if he was going
Sure.
because, why wouldn't you go?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure there's a lot of Lions alumni who are making plans already for next or a week from Saturday or Sunday whenever they play.
Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe
Yeah.
you know what? Maybe I do get a pair of tickets, and
Yeah.
maybe you see me, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath.
No, no. And I'm perfectly fine watching it on the comforts of my own couch, love
Yes.
seat in my man
Yep.
cave.
Yep.
So anyway,
Yeah.
Well, good deal. Well, the Iowa DOT update, we do it every Tuesday. Going to continue again throughout 2025. And of course, if any severe weather does happen throughout this winter months, we'll even probably contact you on an odd day that it's not a Tuesday.
You know how to get a hold of me any day, so don't hesitate to do that at all.
All right. Remember, drive careful, wear your seatbelts. Check out 511ia.org for all the latest road reports as well. So, Pete, thank you very much. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great. Thanks, Jay.